I wanted to do something fun because when I look on like different YouTube comments and different things, I have videos of different people, and you hear a lot of like I don't know, like ignorant, retarded stuff. What I want to talk about today is Mayor Pete, and I don't really want to call it homophobia. I think it's just more or less just ignorance, and I think most people, for the most part, don't really care about gay people at all. And sometimes under peer pressure, people will say a bunch of stupid crap to just try to sound cool, try to sound witty, because they're insecure. Myself, as a gay person, I don't get offended by gay jokes. I actually find most of them pretty funny. Um, People have different perspectives on what happens in gay people's bedrooms and why they get married. Do they actually fall in love? Are they having sex? Or are they just fucking, you know? And it's kind of interesting because there really is no conclusive answer. I mean, you can meet all types. There's just like in the straight community, there's a lot of depraved people in the gay community, and there's depraved people in the straight community. There's a lot of people who are incredibly, monogamous and have very strict relationships. I'm only in monogamous relationships. I've never been in an open relationship. It doesn't even cross my mind. It sounds very complicated, and I don't. If somebody's not able to satisfy those needs for you, why are you with them? You know, business opportunities. What are you doing? So what I wanted to get at was Mayor Pete, and why I think he's an INFJ. These are based on different interviews and typings. Initially, I was thinking, hey, he's probably just an ISTP. He kind of comes across as that kind of Indiana, rough, tough, gruff dude, and he's been in the military and things like that. He's very intelligent, and so you kind of just write him off, hey, INTP. And then his husband's clearly Chasten, is clearly an ESFJ, very easily. He's a teacher, a stereotype ESFJ job. Typically get into coaching and teaching and things like that, and doing those respectful high SI jobs that are dutiful and looked upon with admiration because they're hero jobs. But then I started to look at some more interviews of like this one on Vox, and he showed more of an abstract type. And so with typing people, especially, most you see a lot of letter dichotomy crap, and you see a lot of people try to use cognitive functions, and that's very misleading. And it's very hard to type people that way. That's why it's always easier to type using the temperaments and interaction styles. So as soon as you can pinpoint the interaction style, you're down to four types. And then you guys just got to do their temperament. And so Mayor P is clearly a finisher type. He's clearly responsive. He's clearly movement, and he's clearly direct. And so once you figure out that, and then oh, well, this is his temperament. This is interaction style. So I know he's an ISTJ, ISTP, INTJ, or an INFJ. And so originally I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go with, he's really interest based and always talking about what's in it for me or what's in it for them, what's in it, let's get a win win situation, and interest. But I didn't really sense any kind of really pragmatic thing out of him. He's actually quite affiliative. And so then I was like, well, am I over exaggerating? Is he just another SJ? Because ISTJs are really into politics. And then I started to realize, no, there's no way possible because he's an FE user and he's an SE user, and so that pinpoints it down to being affiliative and interest based, making him an INFJ. Okay, how he develops his cognitive functions is up to him. A lot of things can happen in life. If you look at him himself, you can kind of pinpoint different things that make INFJ sense. He's very soft spoken. He doesn't try to come off on obnoxious. ISTPs can come off obnoxious, no problem, and they can do that high SE loyalty check. Hey, punch you on the arm. Hey, buddy, let's get going. But he is more the INFJ, FE parent, SE inferior, which is like they have that soft spoken, and they don't want to come across as too loud or too obnoxious because they want to give you a good experience because they're afraid they might give you a bad experience, and that would be terrible. And then they're so critical of themselves with their FE parent and their FI critic, and they're just like, well, I have to make sure I'm caring, so I got to make sure my voice is real low. I don't want to be too loud. I got to talk like an INFJ, which Mayor Pete does tremendously. And so people need to understand is that typically speaking, when it comes to gay relationships, when you talk about SE, SI, SI wants to receive pleasure. They want to receive the experience. The SI user is the canvas that is to be painted on. And the SE user is the one that wants to give an experience and they want to paint on a canvas. So, typically speaking, with SE users in the gay community, usually that means they're the top. Okay, this means they're in control in the bedroom. This means they're the ones that are going to initiate things, and they're going to be the direct type and said, "Hey, I want to do this to you," and they're like, "Oh, okay, I want to receive this from you," and that's how sexuality combines. That's why it's always great to be in a relationship with an SE user and an SI user, straight or gay, because one wants to receive the experience and the one wants to give the experience. Because if you have both SI users, you get people just laying around waiting for something to happen, or you're going to have two SE users going, no, I want control. No, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then it just doesn't work out that way. And so Mayor Pete, being an INFJ, would be the person who would give the experience in his relationship with his husband Chasten. Chasten, being an ESFJ, has SI parent, means he wants to responsibly receive experiences. And so this means more than likely he's the bottom. Now, granted, there are gay relationships. I've known plenty of them that don't even engage any kind of penetration whatsoever. We'll do other things, insane. But that's not this point. The point is, you see all these comments about like, oh, Mayor Pete's always like the right pole and all this kind of stuff. Let's try to learn some cognitive function things. Okay, obviously he's not doing that. Now, granted, in my experience of dating abstracts, and talking to many different people, abstract types typically tend to be versatile in the gay community where they can go both ways, but they're still dominant in one way. And so, myself being an SI inferior user, I'm more or less want to receive 70% of the time, and every once in a while I'm in a mood to be versatile. And so that's kind of how that works. And so the same things with Mayor Pete in this relationship, though, with an ESFJ. More like the ESFJ wants to be a bottom all the time. Most SJs are like that, and they always want to be like that high SI, high receiving. Give me all you got type. And which is great. And I hope they're in love, and I hope that works out well. But just a couple understanding. I think I got the kind of the freedom to speak about these kind of subjects, and due to the fact that obviously there's no vitriol from my side. This has nothing to do with politics whatsoever. I don't really care. He is a public figure, and interesting, to have openly gay person like that, and people just like kind of confused. And so with this message, I'm just trying to be like, hey, let's just kind of like normalize this, and so people just like, the more you know about people, the more accepting it is. That's what the whole point of typology to begin with anyways, is because it's like the more you know about other people, and the more you respect them, the more you love them, or the more you hate them for that matter. But and so it's just interesting, once you understand the psychology of everything, you have a hard time, going through life being thoroughly disappointed, like others are. And so, yeah, I think Mayor Pete's an INFJ, and I think his husband Chasten's an ESFJ. I think Mayor Pete obviously would be, if that's the case, as an INFJ, he's going to be the dominant figure in the bedroom. He's more likely going to be the top. Chasten is his dutiful husband, his loyal, always faithful to him. That type of thing is what an SE user is looking for. SE looks for loyalty. SI wants to be loyal to those who are deserving. Okay? And so I think that's great. A lot of people may wonder, well, if he's an INFJ, why would he not go for an ENFP? They can be loyal, or an INFP. They're loyal. That's true. They are. And that would be his golden and silver pair and most compatible. But if you're looking at what Mayor Pete's trying to do, he's trying to be president. And so he probably planned this a long, long, long time ago, because high NI heroes don't make mistakes. They have a goal way in the future, and they're just going to go boom, 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 boom until they get it. Sometimes at their own physical demise, and they don't take care of themselves trying to get that goal. Uh, and so if he's trying to be president, having someone like an ENFP husband with SE demon might get you into some trouble. Your partner is very important. INFJs can hide better than other abstracts because they have FE ability and SE ability, and so they don't necessarily get labeled autistic like my type or other people do, who seem to have social inadequacies, in this SJ affiliative world. And so INFJs can hide a little better. And so let's say he found an ENFP with SE demon, you can't have your first gentleman, saying fuck in the Oval Office, like Kanye West. You just can't do it. Kanye West has SE demon, unaware of where he is, and will cuss in a church. ENFPs will be like that too. ENFPs typically are comedians. ENFPs have really dirty mouths. ENTPs have dirty mouths. We just like don't really see it that way, and so it's just kind of just like whatever. And INFPs, might be too out. INFPs just dress like shit, and so you want to have the first gentleman like look really well, and so it makes sense why he would go the SJ route and find that dutiful ESFJ that would be faithful to him and loyal to him and to do exactly what he would need in the political spectrum for his future to be president. You could argue, hey, why does he not just get an ESTJ? Because ESTJ is another alpha, and so the ESTJ might have issues with his man being president and him not, because TE Hero will be jealous about that kind of stuff. So I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. So yeah, I think he's INFJ, and I think his husband's an ESFJ. And see.